Hey everyone, just checking to see if we're live at this point and maybe get a better idea of the video preview as well. Had some trouble streaming last time, but I figured in honor of us launching a Hearthstone podcast, so for all of you who were wondering what our opinions about Hearthstone were, you can now find out, because I'm sure there's nothing more that you really wanted than to listen to us ramble on about Hearthstone, so... that's pretty good. Yep, looks like we're live. Awesome. Sweet beans. Yeah, so I'm going to play a little Hearthstone, do a little arena run. I just kind of feel like that's really the thing to do. So let's see how we do. All right. Woohoo. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to jump back out real quick. See if there's any particular group that I need to get wins with. And it looks like Paladin and Priest, Druid or Rogue. So I think I'm going to go with Rogue on this one. And get a quest done. Well, I'll do some arenas. Actually get 2 quests done. Alright, so first pick here between these 3 cards. Young Priest is a pretty decent starter card. But I feel like the Sunfear Protector is going to be a stronger play later on. Also, it's a 2/3 for 2, so that's not really a bad card to just play on its own. Out of these, I think the Elven Archer is the best pick. The 1/1 Wind Fury just doesn't do enough. Most of the time, it just pretty much goes out and dies. And then Sinister Strike just doesn't have the flexibility that I really want in an arena deck. So, Elven Archer it is. From here, again, a couple low-cost minions. The Dread Corsair could be a lot of fun. It's usually going to be a 3-cost taunt for a 3/3, which is okay. If I get other weapons, it could be a little bit better, but I think the Abusive Sergeant, again, going for flexibility and a good early drop. So that'll allow me to trade up a few times. Oof. Oh, a couple pretty good cards here. Twilight Drake would be lovely to have in the deck. It's a great card, hard to remove, hard to deal with. Blade Flare would be pretty good if I had other weapons and can guarantee it. But I think I'm going to go with SI7 just because it's a decent removal spell. And it's going to give me, the again, a 3/3 on the board, which is just wonderful. And we've already got a couple 1-drops that can synergize really well with that on turn 4 or even turn 1. Here, we don't have a lot of big creatures, but I feel like we're going to pick up more of those. Drake's Ale could be okay. The healing on that is actually a pretty decent draw sometimes. But I think Argent Squire is going to be the best pick out of that particular group. Sap can be a lot of fun. It's a good way to finish out, get killing blows, set them back a little bit. But I think Betrayal is going to be a little bit stronger in this format, just because more often you're going to see a lot of minions out. A couple good cards here. Anabar Ambusher could be a strong play. Especially if you're going with more of a tempo-y type deck. And we've got a lot of smaller minions, although I'm not sure that there's a lot of stuff that I want to necessarily return to my hand if it dies, especially on somebody else's turn. Elven Archer could be okay, but I feel like we don't really need any more 1-drop type creatures. So I think out of this pack, as much as I would love to go with the Ambusher, I think the Razorfen Hunter is going to be the better play, just because we can get 2 creatures for the price of 1. Dragonly Mechanic could be pretty good, but I think I'm going to go with Fan of Knives for the card draw and the extra 1 damage. Backstab, always beautiful to see. Here we've actually got a couple spells that could go off with the Violet Teacher, and a 3/5 for 4. I'm not really unhappy to see that at any given point, so I think we'll go with that. For this one, definitely Stone Skin Gargoyle would be the most horrible choice that I could ever make. Elven Archer could be good, but I feel like we need some beef to round out this arena. We're still early in the deck building, but I think a 7/7 for 7 is fine. Perfectly fine to me. Again, a little bit more beef, 5/5 for 5. The other cards were okay, but not necessarily something that I'm going to go for a huge amount there. Here, the Assassinate could be really nice. Just a really good, strong early turn removal type of card. But I think, and I could go for Lord of the Arena, but he's not really all that great. He's pretty easy to remove by turn 6, and You know, he's built like an attacking creature, but he's got that taunt, so he's not really what you're looking for. Frostwolf Warlord could be good, especially with like the Razorfen Hunter out, the Violet Teacher. Could see some really strong combos with that, but I feel like getting just a good, strong piece of removal this early is probably the best option. We don't have a lot of 3s, and Flesh-Eating Ghoul is a pretty decent 3, especially if you're trading out minions fairly quickly. We've got a little bit of removal, so I'm pretty okay with that. So yeah, I think Flesh-Eating Ghoul can work out in this sort of deck pretty easily. Let's see. We've got the option for the Anabar Ambusher, a Shadow Step, but there's not, like, besides SI7 Agent, I'm not seeing a lot of stuff that I necessarily want to return to my hand and then play again. Tauren Warrior. So I think, honestly, as much as he can set me back in play, I think the Anabar Ambusher is going to be my best pick out of that pack. Here I'm kind of torn, actually. The Silverhand Knight, just great card in the arena. Shattered Sun Cleric works well with a lot of the lower drops that we have. And itself is a pretty decent low drop, but I think Silverhand Knight is going to be the best choice out of this pack. Again, hoping that we might get a few more low-cost minions later on. The Berserker could be strong. The Unstable Ghoul is a fun card, but we don't have a lot of stuff that really synergizes with that well. It's a good low drop, though, and pretty much whatever hits it is going to deal... You know, if it kills it, it deals 2 damage back to it, so that could be a pretty decent board removal as well, especially early game. We've got a lot of 1-drops, though, so I think more often than not would end up being used against me. So it's actually pretty tough because we also don't have a lot of defensive creatures right now. And I don't really have a great way of activating the Berserker. Well, the Elven Archer, I guess. So, yeah, I think actually the Berserker might be a strong choice in this case. Could go for some card draw with the Cult Master. That would not be a bad pick. Dark Iron Dwarf, just solid, strong card. Silverhand Knight again. Good 2-for-1 play. But I think we've got the 1 Silverhand already. We don't have a lot of 4s in the deck, so I think Dark Iron in this case is going to be the better pick. Good strong starter cards here. Dragonlane Mechanic, obviously pretty great. Another Divine Shield 1/1 would be good, but I think Fairy Dragon, we don't have a lot of 2s, and a good 3/2 is always good to come by. Here we have another option to pick up another Young Priestess. We don't have any weapons, so other than obviously the one we have. So Blade Flurry, not so excited about. I think in this case, actually, Emperor Cobra is going to be the pick. It removes pretty easily. It's not a bad card. Oof. Oh, this hurts my heart. Ventrico is such a great minion, especially in the 5-drop slot. He is super easy to play out. Just really strong. Cold Blood, great card. Again, good combo card, especially if you can pull it out early. But I think Eviscerate is going to be the way to go here because it gives us a good removal, and it's just a fairly decent card all around. Just a lot more useful, I think, than Cold Blood is, at least in this format. Earthen Ring wouldn't be bad, especially if we're going to be using the dagger a lot to remove stuff. But I feel like Bloodfin Raptor is just a good, solid card to pick. It rounds out the 2s, rounds out a couple early drops for us. I like it. Another Betrayal might be okay. Thromar Farseer is... bleh. And Gnomish Inventor, just a good card. Good solid card, replaces itself, gives you a good 2/4 on the board. I like it. It's a nice place to be. Let's see, we could get another Gurubashi Berserker here, and I think we are going to take it because, frankly, the Voodoo Doctor just doesn't do enough for its cost. The Tauren Warrior is, again, just kind of meh, and we don't really have a great way to activate it. And if we're going to use something to activate it, activate a Enrage or a damage ability, the Berserker is just a good all-around choice for that. Here, definitely not Goldshire Footman. Again, Sinister Strike, just not that flexible. How are we on 5s? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in the 5 slot, 1 in the 7. we're curving a little high. So actually Sinister Strike might not be too terrible, but we've still got 6 cards left, so I think I'm going to hedge my bets and go with the Drake Scale Healer. Here, Booty Bay is okay, but I definitely want the Haunted Creeper. Give us a little bit better. Again, trying to go for a couple more low drops. We don't really have a great set of endgame cards. We have the one War Golem. The Stranglethorn Tiger is sort of game-ending. So I could go for another War Golem, which is just a good, solid beef-type creature. But I just cannot pass up the Deathiest Ringleader. That's just a really strong rogue card. Here we've got another Eviscerate, which I think could be a strong pick. Another Dark Iron Dwarf would be really good. But if I was going to go for the Dark Iron Dwarf, I would definitely go for the Eviscerate. It's just better removal, although it doesn't give me a 4/4 on the board, so there is that. The Warlord could be a good game-ending card. We've got a lot of cards that throw down quickly, a lot of cards that produce other minions, with the Silverhand Knight, the Haunted Creeper. So I think in this case, actually, the Frostwolf Warlord is going to be the better pick. Sweet, Eviscerate, I will take that. And then here, Headcrack is okay, but frankly, it's just not great. Like, if I could target creatures with Headcrack, amazing. But I can't, so I'm not going to take it. Another SI7 agent, super good. Perdition's Blade, also super good, but I think the SI7 agent is going to be the better pick in this case. So as far as this deck goes, I feel pretty comfortable with it. I think we've got a good early curve, good late game, good mid game, and then towards the late game we're going to start to struggle a little bit. But we have some removal that if we hold on to it, we should either never hit the late game, or we'll make it there and be able to deal with some larger threats, just through the Eviscerates, the Betrayals, that sort of thing. I'm going to predict that I'm going to be able to go maybe 5 wins with this deck. We'll see, though. Better player might be able to get a little bit more with that, but I feel pretty confident that we can do a pretty decent job with this deck.